I think I discovered Parkett, it must have been either the library or through, maybe through friends who were art students. And I remember I would borrow it from the art library in Geneva to find out about artists that I liked. It was a really great resource and reference, and also in the time before the internet, about artists that we liked and that about whom there wasn't so much information. I remember, I think there was actually, maybe it took a little roundabout way, is that I think first they asked me to do an insert, and then maybe the insert didn't work, and then they said, oh, actually, why don't, we'd like you to be one of the collaborating artists for Parkett. And I was really, it was quite early in my career, so I was very proud. And yeah, it was really fantastic. And then I realized that after going through the process of selecting the writers with them and working on the edition and so on, that they put me on the cover, which was super exciting. The edition it still is, a little miniature figure that sort of reproduces a life-size sculpture of a dancer that I made in collaboration with a friend who's called Ligia Diaz, who's a fashion designer. So Ligia designed the clothes of the figures, and I designed the puppets. They were life-size mannequins, sort of cardboard, papier-mâché mannequins that were holding neon lights in their hands and kind of dancing with them. And I always thought it would be nice to have a small one, almost like a Barbie doll or a very small replica. And of course, it was quite technical and difficult to make. So when Parkett asked me, I'd seen the other editions and seen that they had done some very complex things. So I asked Dieter about this, and he said, yeah, we have a company that makes models, I think in America, and they can work on a replica of this. And so we went through this process. It was also quite complex to find a miniature light circle, because of course you cannot make a neon this thin. So I think we took the guy that I was working with in Neon said that we could go and buy customizing parts for computers. So in this time, I guess there were people, I don't know if people still do this, that were customizing their tower PCs and changing the fan and putting fans with these sort of red light circles in them, and so we bought those and removed them and used them as a light for the piece, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. Yeah, it was very special. I mean, the piece is very special, and just also the process of making the selection of the writers, commissioning the writers, and working on the content of the issue it was very special, I think. Because they really consult with the artist as to whom may be a good person to write, and so you're involved. It's not just this remote process. Normally, if a magazine writes about you, they just someone just writes, and then you discover it at the end. But in this case, there's a kind of back and forth, which is very nice. Well, I think it's truer to the work. I mean, I think what they do is more like is much closer to the work of the artist. It represents, in a way, the artist in a very close way. And it had this great thing of being in between a magazine and a book. So Parkett was never this magazine that you would just read and then put in the trash. You would keep it because it could always be used as a reference. I think people still use it. I still use the texts, like the PDF from the issue of Parkett, when people ask me for sort of reference things about my work. 10 years down the line, I still send that PDF because it's extremely compact and useful, and somehow true to the work. I will miss it. I guess at the same time, things have, things have to end, or things always end, and maybe it's better to end. I mean, I don't know. I didn't really talk to them about this, so it's beyond the few emails that we exchanged about the last issue. But I imagine it's better to stop before you feel that you're settling into a routine or things get boring. And I guess I think it's also a generational thing that younger people maybe don't go and buy a magazine the way that we would have maybe 20 years ago. So that's just life, I guess. And I'm very curious to see the shape it will take after